Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review a small-scale indie thriller from England, and this is called Beast, and it's about a young woman who falls in love with this guy who's like the wrong side of the track kind of guy, but there might be something more to this guy as a bunch of women are starting to get murdered, and is this guy a serial killer? And it is a very, very tense and engaging film for the most part, and I saw some reviews about it, and I was excited to try to go see it, and luckily it was playing at one of the small indie theaters around me, and I checked it out last weekend, and I was pleasantly surprised. And this is a really just strong thriller. It's not something that's going to be, oh my god, this is the greatest movie, but for sitting down and watching it, I was really engaged. And as the film went on, it got more and more engaging, all the way up until the end, where this film really, really hits you at the end. It's like, holy crap. It does take a little bit to get there, though. Now, Michael Pearce's direction overall I thought was very well done, plays out the story in an interesting way, pulling back layers and creating a really highly tense film. And there's some sequences in this film that are really, really tense, and you can just feel it in the air while you're sitting there in the theater. That tension you can cut through. And I think that's probably the biggest strength of this film is the high tensity. And one of the big things that helps with that is a very tense and haunting score by Jim Williams. Throughout this film, it really builds, and in each scene, it really tries to punch forward that feeling that this film's trying to convey. And in the best thrillers, everything comes together to create really, really highly tense, really atmospheric and grabbing scenes. And this film has some of those scenes. It's not that way all the way throughout. I wouldn't say this is a classic thriller like, say, Silence of the Lambs, which honestly, if I had to pick a film, that's probably the one that I'd go to in terms of really building tension and thrills. But this film does do a good job, and it has an interesting story. It's shot well by Benjamin Kraken, and it looks very well done, and there's some great shots, great camera work, and it is a very well-made film. And Jessie Buckley, who plays the young woman in this, really gets to have some scenes where she really, really grabs it, and there's some emotional sequences. And there's one particular scene at a funeral that really grabs you, and it's just, you really see the intensity in her performance as this builds throughout the film and builds to its climax in the third act. The issue with that, some of the issues that I had with this film, it does take some time getting there, and it lags a bit towards the beginning, and it takes a little bit to actually get into it. And it doesn't lack, I felt like I wasn't super connected with the characters, or at least our main character, until we really started hitting into gear towards the end of the second act into the third act. Which, when it got there, it was really good, but up to that point, it's just like, I'm going along with it, I'm interested because it's tense. One of my big complaints about this was Johnny Flynn's performance, who plays the guy that she's in love with and this potentially really bad guy. And I wasn't really sold on his performance, and I really didn't like what he did in the film, the choices that he made. It really didn't work for me. But overall, I think this is a really solid thriller. If you get a chance to go see it and you enjoy those kinds of films, or just enjoy well put together indie films, this is something that I would highly suggest you go check out if you can find it. And that's why I'm going to give Beast a B.